Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Auto Transport Intel. It is Wednesday. It is noon Central Time. That means it's time for some DOT compliance with your DOT guy, Brian Riker. You know, here's what I want you to do. Do me a favor. First of all, jump in the live chat. Hey, what's up, David? Thanks for tuning in. And jump in the live chat with your questions. If you have questions on anything governmental regulational, FMCSA, DOT, IRP, IFTA, your truck and trailer weight rating combo. Brian Riker, he's your DOT guy. You can go to YourDOTGuy.com and find him there. You can also find him here, and what I want you to do is help me out. You can click share, click copy, grab that YouTube link, text it, email it, share it on social media, send a lifeline to a friend that you know. Listen, you want them to have a good year, right? You want to have a good year. Everybody wants to stay in business. Protect your CDL. Do all those things. And if you're not sure, maybe you're a family member, you're trying to help out, go to autotransportintel.com, click on sign up, become an ATI insider, find out more about how we can help you. Auto Transport Intel is for carriers, brokers, dispatchers, dealers, auction reps, OEMs, etc., and on it goes, because we're thinking outside the cab. So we're here, we're live. Let's do this. Let's bring in Brian. Brian, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Jay. Good day.
Good. So I just worked it in, right? Thinking outside the cab? Maybe that'll be the name of this episode.
Hey, why not? We have to if we want to grow. We're running a business. We're not just a truck driver once you become an owner operator. You are a small.
Uh-oh. Man down. Hey Brian, check your
there we go.
There we go. Okay.
Nope.
No, I got you. No, we're good. No,
I can't hear you.
He can't hear me. Hey, Happy New Year. Hey, what's going on? I got people jumping over. There's John at LAI Auto Transport, Carlos Braxton, ACB Logistics, Two Bears Transportation. Fritz is here. What's up, Fritz? And thank you guys for emailing me stuff. Are we back?
I'm good. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. It's just a button, you know. But you were really on a roll there. That's right. If you are, what were you saying? Growing a business, thinking outside.
Yes, we're not just a truck driver. Once you become an owner operator, you are building a business, and you need to think about it as a business. There's more to it than just the steering wheel, looking out the windshield, or loading your cargo on the trailer. You really have to understand the market, understand the regulations, understand your equipment, so you know, even if you can't fix it yourself, understand it so you know you're not getting taken advantage of somewhere.
And hey, over here, Captain Obvious, that's me. I know that I don't like being preached to either. So I never want to be too preachy, although I think I probably do it all the time. But I think my motivation to make sure that we keep hitting that bell is that I was just saying, I was looking at the YouTube videos, auto transport, car hauling, and so many videos focus on how much money is going to land in your hand. And, that's great and all, but you got to focus on so much else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also talking about how, the going to hell, there's a lot of, we're going to hell, the world's going to hell. Well, yeah. If you never look ahead, it's like when you're driving in the dark and you don't turn on your brights and you can only see, and then you're going to hit the deer or whatever. Yeah, dude, turn on the brights. Watch Auto Transport Intel.
Yeah, exactly, Jay. Exactly. Look ahead and think different, because
that's the other thing. Exactly. Think different.
I could sit here and complain and bitch and moan about how the industry's changed. I've been at it 31 years now, and I was actually up by a place where my introduction to auto transport began back in 1997, I think it was. I had lunch at a place I haven't eaten at in 10 years today because I had to go visit a customer in New York, and I'm watching the 4-car haulers going in and out of this salvage auction and on Stone Castle Road in Montgomery, and the equipment hasn't changed all that much, but the vehicles we're hauling have, the amount of all-wheel drives we have, the plastic components, but the whole business model has definitely changed. And I could sit here and complain because it's different than it was 25 or 30 years ago, or I can adapt so that I can still thrive. I mean, if you're not making any money right now, I hate to say it, guys, it's not anybody's fault but your own. The money is out there. The work is out there. You just may need to do something outside your comfort zone, do something a little different. But while I'm on this rant about things different, the things that never change, I watched half a dozen 4-car haulers roll by me while I was having my slice of pizza today. And I watched them roll by. I watched them have vehicles improperly secured. I watched them still using winch cable and J-hook and bending components. I watched them have obviously no tow lights, no safety chains. And we wonder why the DOT is harassing the crap out of us. We've been preaching this stuff. We've had it beat into our head for decades now, and we still can't even properly secure a vehicle. And it's obvious it's not done properly. And then you wonder why, and you get all upset at the officer that pulls you over to give you a citation for it. Look back at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I was asking for this because I couldn't be bothered to take the extra 30 seconds to put the safety chains or to give it a proper tie down that meets the rules or use straps that aren't tore up and damaged. Look back in the mirror at yourself, guys.
Well, and on that, we're pretty harsh when we comment on other people, right? The glass houses and the stones and the whatnot. Hey, before we go any further, hey, look at this. Chris Chamberlain is in here, and I like the way Chris said this. Chris, paying my information toll. Thanks again. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
and
you,
everybody
Chris.
in the live chat, and whether you're live or on demand or on the podcast, we appreciate you. We really do.
Sure.
This is show number 50, Brian.
50. Wow.
50. This is DOT compliance number 50. Isn't that amazing?
It is. I don't know where the time has gone, and we have a strong core following that's here every week, and believe me, I appreciate you. You guys love to throw stuff at me and try to see if you can catch me in a stumper, and you're the ones that are here wanting to learn. There's not a whole lot of entertainment value in the content I bring, but there is a lot of knowledge here to share among us, and I learn stuff from you guys too. You put stuff in the live chat that challenges me to go think and research, and I like this dynamic, and I want to keep it going for another 50 episodes at least.
Agreed. So here we go. David asks, why do I get text messages telling me my UCR is due when I already paid it?
Because these are scammers that are hoping you're dumb enough to not know you already paid it, and they're going to scam you out of $100 to file something for you that's already filed. You'll get the same messages for your biennial update, which is your MCS 150 form on your DOT number. They'll tell you that it's out of compliance. This happens especially a lot with new carriers. They get notices your VMT, which is vehicles mile traveled, is out of date. No crap. If you haven't been around for at least a year, you have no mileage to report for the year. So it's going to have a 0 in that field, and it's going to show VMT outdated until you've been around at least a year and can do your update to add miles. So why do you get them? Because there's a sucker born every minute that will just, oh crap, I owe that. Let me push the button and pay it. That is why you get them, because people are paying and responding to these.
Don't you hate it when you don't get your mail? Well, I'll tell you what, we can help you out. Mailchecker.com. It's only $5 a month, and we will check your mail for you.
Great service.
Right, mailchecker.com. And just 5 minutes ago, I got one for dispatch services. Man, the dispatchers. And Sue and I were talking about this. She was like, well, I think it's our show. And I'm like, I don't think we ever told anybody to spam. I don't know.
No. Right now, and if you want to hear my thoughts in more depth on this, folks, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Starting on Thursday, January 6th, my other podcast launches, available anywhere you can get podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartMedia, the whole 9 yards. It's On the Road with your DOT guy, Brian Riker. I forget whether it's episode 3 or 4, but I do one on brokers and on dispatch services and explain the concepts of who they are, why they can be beneficial, and where they can be a downfall. And so the text messages there from the brokers, I will put the ones that are sending out solicitation text messages, or not the brokers, the dispatchers, I'll put them in the same category I just put the UCR solicitators in. They're trying to sell you on using them. They shouldn't have to sell you on using them. You should be able to find them. You should be able to vet them through people you know that you know they're doing a good job. And beware. We've talked about this. It's a hot topic, and I don't want to go down the whole rabbit hole. But when you have a dispatcher that's telling you they can get you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a week worth of work, and if they use anything like the phrase, "We have work that's not on the boards, we have our own customers," get their broker authority, because they have to be a broker if they have customers of their own, and they're not just simply handling your work for you. Bottom line, guys, a dispatcher cannot create work for you. They can merely help you service your own customers and the stuff you already have access to, the brokers, the load boards you already have. They're great service. They help you with the administrative end. I don't think that the honest ones are any different than what I do, where I help you with your paperwork for DOT compliance. But I can't go make you be compliant any more than a dispatch service can go show up and hand you $5,000 worth of work every month. So again, beware.
And I want to say this about advertising. I mean, there's advertising is advertising. That is fine. However, if you're door to door and you get an FU, you don't argue with the resident.
Right.
Right. Listen, lady, I'm just trying to, no, go away, leave.
There's nothing wrong with advertising. I take advertising dollars on my new podcast. I work for a magazine that sells advertising dollars based on the articles and the content we create. There's absolutely nothing wrong with advertising as long as it's done legitimately, in good taste, and not shoved in your face when you don't want it. Because I don't know about you, but if I get an ad that comes in at the wrong time, I don't care how great the product is. I don't want to do business with them because they've ticked me off. You could call with the best product in the world, but if you call just as I'm sitting down to supper, you're probably not going to sell it to me. And I'm in the business of sales. I understand the fine line here.
So on the dispatcher thing, Fritz asks, when hiring a dispatch service, how do I know they will not use my credentials after leaving them? Good question.
You don't know for sure, other than whatever credentials you give them access to. So logins for load boards and stuff, you should probably create. You retain ownership of those, and you should probably change your password and your login as soon as you stop doing business with a dispatcher. That way they can't log into the boards under your name. But otherwise, you can't ever be sure that they're not going to say that we're with Fritz's Auto Transport and here's our DOT number to scam somebody out of a load. But quite honestly, that could happen and does happen every day. Theft by fraud happens in the trucking world every day. People show up to warehouses to pick up a load and say, hey, I'm with John's Trucking and I'm here for that load that's going to California. And because they had seen it posted on a broker board, they know it exists. They BS their way through having a load number or something to get it released. They leave. Then John's Trucking shows up to pick his load up, and lo and behold, oh, we already gave that to one of your trucks. It's gone, man. Happens every day. So how do you prevent it? You really don't. You just you prevent it by making sure you pick someone that's going to be, or the best you can tell is going to be trustworthy and honest right from the get-go.
Is on that, I know that when I was dispatching, one of the things I learned early on, because it's a two-way street, because I talked to some carriers that, like, yeah, I don't think I want to work with you, man.
Exactly.
Right. And so, like, I mean, we would have we would have a vetting meeting, a long meeting
Mm-hmm.
on purpose where we're going to talk, maybe get a little personal, but not too personal, because you want to know that, I wanted to know I don't want to work with somebody that's going to call me late at night every night and want to, like, BS or, like, so try that get that second wallet, have coffee, put some cash in a wallet, accidentally purposefully leave it, and see if they give it back to you. Now you got somebody you can work with. Which is an idea. A virtual wallet, what have you. Okay, Chris says, you always have to adapt, keep an eye on what's coming down the pike, show up with clean equipment, dressed right. Which isn't easy. We also understand there's a reality. You're out on the road, it's hard. And hey, Chris brings this up. Has anyone seen the guy in Europe? I think he blew up his Tesla instead of buying a $23,000 battery. Did you? I saw that. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
What did he do? What did the guy do?
He needed a battery, and he found out it was going to cost roughly $23,000 for the replacement battery. He had just bought the car like a couple months earlier. It was a used Tesla, and so he took it to a YouTuber that blows things up for content. They strapped it with 60 some pounds of dynamite and blew it up in a field somewhere in protest, and they filmed it.
So I'm guessing the manufacturer, leaving out the name, the manufacturer was saying, well, you didn't buy it new, you didn't buy it from us, you bought it used, and therefore this. You know what it reminds me of? There's now there's a printer that they're now selling, like, you get these giant ink bottles with your printer and refill the ink cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this like, yeah, where was that 20 years ago when we were all buying that stuff wherever we could, right? Because who wanted to pay $100 for an itsy bitsy ink cartridge? The printer was $5, the ink was $100, and we all started trying to find ways to, like, get right side up on the ink. And now that nobody cares about printers, hey everybody, we got this great idea. Yeah, where was that 20 years ago?
The sad part is there was a time where you could walk in and buy the printer with ink cartridges cheaper than the replacement cartridges. You just buy a brand new printer when it ran out of ink. It's sad. And so, yeah, what happened with this particular car is it was like a 2013 model. So it was out of warranty on the battery. And it was at the point where the battery no longer was serviceable. They had, like everything else, they don't have a finite amount of recharges you can put in them. And so you buy, and this is the problem with the electronic vehicles, but it's really no different than us hitting the 100,000 mile or the million mile mark on our truck, and the motor needs to be rebuilt. Well, on your tractor trailer, your class 7 or 8 tractor, get 1,000,000 miles in and you're going to spend 20 grand on rebuilding your motor. So you get X number of miles in on your electric vehicle and you're going to spend 20 grand on a battery. You got to figure it into the cost of ownership of the vehicle. How many miles am I expected to get out of this battery? Okay, I can live with that cost.
And if the ink cartridge just gets too irritating, that blowing up method's called field recycling.
Yeah.
MM says, all right, hey, what's my that's O/A? Is that overall? What is O/A? Length limit going to be with a 1-ton pickup with bed and gooseneck trailer?
Overall length
Overall.
limit, yes.
Yeah.
In most states, it is 65 foot from the front bumper, frontmost part of your truck to the rearmost part of your trailer, including overhang off the back of the trailer. Some states allow more. This is another one of those things that is not federally regulated. So individual states have different rules on this, but they must give you a minimum by federal law of 65 foot.
65 foot. So I'm going to read the whole thing now. Okay, so just to get it right, what's my overall length limit going to be with a 1-ton pickup with bed and gooseneck trailer is it calculated from my truck's front bumper to the end of my cargo's bumper on the rearmost spot?
Yes, the furthest point forward to the furthest point rear is how it's calculated. So it would be the back of your trailer if you're empty, or the furthest point sticking out on the load if you have a load on there.
And what we're saying is that's 65 feet because
because it's a truck and trailer, not a tractor trailer, and which means its pickup truck still has the bed on it and not a fifth wheel hitch. It's a truck and trailer, not a tractor trailer. So federal law says we only have to allow a minimum of 65-foot overall length. About half to 3/4 of the states out there, well, feds say 65. 65 is all we're allowing. A handful of other states will allow you more. Don't ask me to name them off the top of my head because I don't know.
And on that, again, because this gets into what's a car hauler. Am I right? Because does MM in this situation get any overhang in any states?
Some states may allow an overhang for a divisible load, but that truck without cargo carrying capacity on the truck, on the pickup truck, that combination does not meet the definition of an automobile transporter. So he gets no federal overhang allowances. So then it goes to the state level. Most states do not allow overhang on a divisible load, which hauling multiple vehicles is a divisible load. Their theory is, well, if you're too long, you can leave one behind. They don't care about you making money. They just don't want stuff hanging off the front or back of your trailer. So again, that goes to every state is different.
Let's see here. Devin asks, hey guys, do I have to fill a UCR for 2021, but I was not on the road at all? Also, can Brian explain PRISM effect for non-CDL driver?
UCR for 2021, if you did not actually operate any vehicles in interstate commerce, then no, you do not need to file that one. Be prepared if you get questioned about it in an audit or something, be prepared to prove you didn't operate any vehicles. And I'm not sure what he's talking about PRISM effect. I know there's a PRISM database, but I'm not sure what he's talking about there.
Let's do this. And also now, I saw that AutoShip had said, I just called Central Dispatch about my application, and they told me 54 days waiting time. Now they're saying 65 days. I guess they don't want my money. What? Sue and I were talking about this Central Dispatch waiting time to sign up. Now, question, AutoShip, are we talking about as a broker or as a carrier? Because now we have to ask that question. But again, I just called Central Dispatch about my application. They had told me 54 days, and now it's 65. And I think we're talking about signing up as a carrier. That's wild, man.
Yeah, well,
why would it take so long?
Like everybody else, they could be short-staffed on physically processing it, or maybe they're trying to change, and this is no disrespect to anybody, just trying to change the quality of carrier or broker that they have on their board. So they want to make sure you can hold out and be in business a minimum number of days before they're going to give you access to their board. I mean, there used to be, still in freight, there's a time where you get brokers that won't deal with you unless you've been in business a year or two. So that's why I get questions all the time about starting my company now and letting my number age, and it doesn't work without paying for insurance. And if you're going to pay for insurance, you might as well go haul some freight for somebody. So maybe they're looking for a minimum age of your company to be in existence before to let you sign up. I've never used Central Dispatch a day in my life, so I can't speak for them. We just generally did not have any brokered loads. We had almost 100% direct customers.
And check this out. I'm glad I asked a question. AutoShip said broker. So as a broker waiting 2 months, why would that? There's some. I mean, you know, I don't know.
I don't know.
We
When
talk about
Central
everything,
Dispatch
but
is
yeah, we're speculating. But there is something weird going on over at the building.
well, they've made a lot of changes very quickly, and I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure if they're good or bad changes.
Yeah, good check. Here we go. Let's see. Sideshow, the producer, Happy Holidays, is having the main plate legal because everyone is telling me to register my trailer plates in Maine, but I'm in Illinois.
Yes and no. Here's the deal. There's nothing illegal about having your trailer registered in a different state than you're in, unless your state has some sort of personal property tax or some other specific rule that prohibits that. Maine trailer plates are very common, and I don't even know why they're that common anymore. 30 years ago, they were common because Maine was the only state that would issue you a 25-year license plate. So for the big freight guys that buy a trailer and they keep it for years and it's all over the country and they don't even know exactly where it is, it saved them a lot of hassle for buying a license plate for their trailer and not needing to get paperwork to the trailer every year for the renewal on the plate and blah, blah, blah. Now, most states offer some form of a permanent trailer registration. So the appeal to register in Maine isn't really there. Now, Illinois, I know they have some very specific registration rules on trailers, depending on the weight class of the trailer and what you're going to do with it. So you may need to find out from Illinois Secretary of State if your trailer must be registered in the state that you are based in to comply. I know in New York, I've had customers get citations from New York State Police for having a New York-based plate, being a New York-based business, but having a Maine trailer registration because New York considers them trying to avoid paying the vehicle registration fee to the state of New York when they do that. Now, that said, if you physically had a presence in Maine, well, you got a business up there too. They can't say anything about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The question itself, right? If so, like, this is kind of, here you are. You're at the fuel island, and somebody's like, "Yeah, just register it in Maine. It's great." Like,
well, there's a whole industry
okay?
around that.
Okay.
There's even websites out there like MaineTrailerRegistration.com and stuff like that their whole purpose exists to sell Maine registrations because the state of Maine has a very inexpensive trailer plate. They have a very easy process that allows you to obtain registration without physically having the trailer in the state, and they have no state inspection or anything like that. So a lot of people choose to get a Maine plate for their trailer. The state of Maine makes a lot of money on these trailers that half of them never ever turn a mile in the state. But because it's not an apportioned registration, other states can give you a hard time. The only state that will ever give you a hard time on having a Maine plate is whatever state your company is based in. So being Illinois based, Illinois would be the only state that could give you a hard time over that Maine license plate. And just like if you're New York based, New York can give you a hard time over that Maine license plate on the trailer because they'll say you're avoiding paying them their share of the registration fees.
Hey, and Chris has got a really good point. Yes, Lionel Yates has great information. I'm going to share his website. Go to auto-hauler.com. But on its face, doesn't that just say... Again, we live in this world. We don't want anybody else to cut any corners at all. And yet, there's this whole system where, yeah, go ahead and register the plate wherever you want to save a buck. I mean... Am I wrong?
No, you're not. And that is the reason a lot of this happens. If you look at a lot of the large commercial vehicles on the highway, you're going to see a disproportionate number of Indiana and Oklahoma apportioned base plates on large fleets. And that is because Oklahoma has some great Tax Advantages has a very low base rate for their apportion plate. And Indiana, if your fleet will let you customize the plate with your own logo on the license plate. So these fleets will register their vehicle in these states, but these are also fleets that have a legitimate business operation in those two particular states, so they can get away with it legally. We don't all have that ability. And as a one truck owner operator, the couple of dollars a year you're going to save probably isn't worth the hassle you get on the side of the road in your home state when they decide you did something wrong.
Dude, we're at 12:30. Let's see. Oh, but Victory Lab, good question. Can you please explain the PRISM database, how that works and how it affects the owner?
Sure. Oh, excuse me here. PRISM is just one more of the central repositories for data. And PRISM collects different forms of licensing data. They focus on commercial operators, so your non-CDL guys. I wish I could remember. I'm trying to remember, and it's bugging me. I'm trying to remember what the acronym stands for.
I'm trying to look this up. So, PRISM Premier. I don't know what this is. Market segmentation. I don't know what. Is this a trucking thing? PRISM?
The PRISM database that I'm thinking of is a government database. It's
FMCSA.
just like,
here we go.
Yeah, it's like CDL lists and the rest of them.
So I'm going to share, I'm going to share this link. This is a link to PRISM. I have not heard of this. And let's see here. PRISM dash Data Activity and Safety Hub. Performance and Registration Information Systems Management.
Yes, I knew that. I knew there's an acronym there on information management.
And this has to do with trucking mind control. That's cool.
Yeah, if you shine a light through it, you get a rainbow out of it.
Oh no, you're thinking of the clearinghouse. That's.
I can't really explain too much off the top of my head because PRISM's a database we don't really deal with that much public facing. But basically, they collect all sorts of motor carrier records in there. It's a management system that FMCSA and FMCSA partners use to track your company. So we'll give you a stump.
We're gonna give you the stump, the old stumpy leg. What else we got here? Just to wrap it up. Oh, fuel tax rate. What is this? What's going on? Fuel tax. Do you know? Fuel tax rate.
That's
changes?
Yes. A lot of legislatures, when they put new fuel taxes or any tax into effect, they all take effect January 1st. So there's several states this year that have decided to increase their fuel tax. Well, I think one actually reduced fuel tax this year, and it's escaping me. But nothing really important other than if you do IFTA, you'll have a new chart, and you'll have to make sure you use the appropriate numbers when you're doing your first quarter of 2022 fuel tax report. Right now, states are scrambling to adjust their budgets to collect the right amount of money for their highway system. And we're going to see a lot of fuel tax changes. I know we have toll increases. Pennsylvania Turnpike is going up. New Jersey, their legislation. Yeah, I can speak right now.
This, let's see. It is not easy to find FMCSA IFTA because there's so many services handling IFTA.
Yes. Yeah. IFTA, the official website for IFTA is IFTACH.org.
IFTA-CH.
I believe it's IFTA-CH.
I think you're right.
Yes. International Fuel Tax Association Incorporated.
Wow.
It's a very primitive looking website when you land on it.
Yeah, they do not have the SEO on this. Yeah, they're getting clocked. By many companies.
Now, for those of you that have to file IFTA, there's a lot of great information on this website. There is a download for their audit manual, which is the manual they use to train their auditors, so you can see exactly what they're going to look for when they come to you for a audit. There are the fuel, the tax charts on there, so you know what each jurisdiction is charging, which is how you can decide whether you're getting the best pump price on your fuel by taking pump price minus actual taxes. There is information on here on exemptions. For example, in some states, they exempt trucks operating on dealer plates or in-transit plates, or they exempt tow trucks, or they exempt motor coaches, but not every state does. And so there's a lot of interesting information on this website.
Wow. Yeah, there really is. Wow, cool. You can download manuals and wow, there's all kinds of stuff. Awesome, man. Going IFTA crazy. That's their. I think that's their slogan next. Okay, that's not official, Jay. What else we got here? Here we go. This quick, how we doing? This guy.
Well,
what is going on here?
Well, I'm guessing he wants to use through the wheel straps so he doesn't damage anything.
Do you think this is real?
It looks like it was taken in a parking lot somewhere, and yes.
I mean,
when you get
don't
amateurs
drive and load, and I wouldn't do it this way.
Yeah, but I've seen worse loads. It's because they think they know what they're doing. I mean, look, he's got the strap wrapped around the jack too to make sure the jack doesn't go anywhere on the trailer.
That's what I'm saying. If you get into trouble, the jack is going to go through the windshield in addition to whatever else happens.
And I've seen a lot of people take the loose strap and secure it in the door so it's not blowing around because they haven't quite figured out how to fold the strap back on itself and secure it.
Look, it's not even tight. It bows. I mean, what is this?
It's somebody that doesn't belong having a trailer.
This,
yeah.
Wow. That is a wow. Let's see. Of course, we have our favorite memes. Last night's show, we were talking all about a look back. I just want to say this as a look back on the 50 shows here. It all started with DOT compliance. 50. It started with we were on a Tuesday night. We did DOT compliance, and then we did some shows in 2020, and then we've gone pretty much every Wednesday this year. And
except when you have to go on vacation
or when we go live on a show. Yeah, exactly. So we missed a handful.
Yes,
between 5 and 10. But we cover there's medical marijuana, weight distribution, AB5. We talked about AB5, driver shortage, driver pay, auto transport broker versus dispatcher, Christmas bow driver. You remember the Christmas bow driver? CDL. Oh, we had, UVI came on the show and was talking to us. And Clearing
Yes, I remember that.
Non-CDL hotshot. Yield, hotshot, and hustle. Because boy, do I love hustle in the name of a business. That's awesome. Baltimore Tow Show. Rates. Hitting a bridge. With it, the Grinch of the week. Oh, that guy. What is ELDT? I mean, it really has been an incredible year, and I really do appreciate you taking the time. It's amazing. You're traveling all the time, right? You're on the road. It's legit. I mean, I can see stuff out. Oh, what am I doing here? I can see stuff out your window. I got all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a shopping plaza about a half an hour from home because I didn't quite make it back home when I planned on. I planned on being in my office all day today, and I had one last minute truck to go deliver. I was surprised to see you
on the road, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have been done for the year yesterday, but I had one last minute truck that sold that had to be delivered, and because of tax advantages, they need to take it in time to put plates on it and do at least one trip with it in calendar year 2021, and then they can depreciate the full purchase value of the truck. So this was a guy that he didn't even buy exactly what he wanted. He bought what was available so that he could spend $105,000 on a rollback instead of paying taxes on that extra $105,000. So for him, it made sense. So yeah, I had to go deliver a truck today, and I was supposed to be in my office getting my end of the year stuff done, and I have a bunch of recording to do tomorrow, but it is what it is. So I made the show work while I'm on the way home.
Life just ain't perfect. And Silverman, there it is. That dude bought that Tesla. He was thinking it was probably a flood car from Copart. So there you go. Hey everyone, Sideshow the producer asks, hey everyone, should I get a factoring company? I've seen videos of car carriers saying it takes them 15 days to almost a month to receive payment for delivery. Factoring company.
No.
No. Exactly.
I can explain.
Yeah.
Factoring companies basically buy your invoice and pay you right away for a percentage of the invoice. It sounds wonderful. First of all, it's hard to find factors that will deal with auto transport because our damage claims are much more likely to happen than damaging a load of toilet paper when you're delivering general freight. So you need a specialty factoring company that's willing to deal with auto transport damage claims, because it's hard to get a traditional clean bill of lading, because even when we deliver a car, they come back to us a month later and say, oh, you scratched my car, or it's missing one of the remote key fobs or whatever. Secondly, where factoring is a problem, a lot of factors in their contracts, they have a exclusivity clause. So if you factor a load from them that came from, say, Ready or Reindeer Logistics, then every load you do for that same source has to go through them. You don't have with most factoring companies, you don't have the choice to pick and choose which loads you finance and which load you're willing to wait the 15 to 45 days to get paid. So not to mention, you're giving up anywhere from 6 to 8% of your revenue for the privilege of quick pay. Most brokers offer quick pay at a much lower fee. A lot of your brokers out there will give you 24-hour to 48-hour pay if you're willing to give them back 5% of the load, or you can get 24 to 48-hour pay from your factoring company and give them 8 to 10% of the load. Not to mention, with factoring, there's also what's called recourse, which means they're going to pay you, but if for any reason that customer does not pay them in a timely manner, they either can just come take the money back out of your bank account, or they can hold the money up out of future loads. That's why they want all the loads from a source to go through them so that they have a continuous stream of your money. Quite honestly, and this is going to sound harsh, but if you can't afford to wait the 30 to 45 days to get paid, borrowing money at 8 to 10% interest to allow that to happen is only going to hasten your demise. It is not a good business tool to use.
I'm gonna pile on, because what you just said is I think is exactly right, and I know it sucks, but like I was driving down the road, I saw a lady walking into a payday loan place, and I was like, oh,
there you go.
Oh,
that's
God.
The analogy I wanted to look for, because factoring is the payday lender of freight invoicing.
It's not, the thing is, and I understand that you need the money, I get it, but you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it is not gonna, you're never gonna get out of the spiral. I don't know how you get out of the spiral.
You would be much better off going to your local credit union. And this is why I recommend we do business with local credit unions and local banks, not major national banks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America, or whatever they call themselves today. And you go to your local bank and they get to know you, they get to know your business. You're much better off just getting a line of credit from your local bank, so it's there when you need it, right, and not using it when you don't have to, and paying yourself back for this, than getting a factoring company involved. Factoring can be very dangerous for your business.
And here's the thing, like, so David says, and I appreciate that, David, thank you. This is a safe place. This is Auto Transport Intel. We're keeping it real. We're talking. We're hashing things out. We want to be real and be your friend. David says, my factoring company charges 0.275%. And actually, that sounds pretty good.
Wow.
That does.
I want to know where you found one that will do that low and do auto transport cargo. So if it works for you, then sure.
Exactly.
The typical experiences that I've seen through my customers have all been 8 to 10% when we're doing auto transport and signing away all of the work from that particular shipper to them. So like everything else, there's always one or two that are really good out there.
Exactly. And this is one of those situations where don't go making a YouTube video because everybody else is going to get 22% like it's a credit card. The thing is that, and that's the thing, and this, we all have this. We all have some debt that we're not happy with because of the interest rate, whether it's the mortgage, whether it's a credit card, whether it's a loan, whatever it is. It could be a vehicle. Man, we had to get that quad runner, the darn thing. Man, I'll have paid for 4 of them by the time I paid that off. Whatever it is, identify that issue and work towards getting rid of it. And factoring falls in that bucket.
Now there are business people out here that will disagree with me. There's successful business people that will.
Throwing darts at the screen right now.
Well, I don't believe in leverage or OPM, other people's money. I am very debt adverse. I don't borrow money. I have a mortgage. That is the entirety of the debt that I have in my life. And the reason I am there is in 2004, I decided I wanted to expand my towing company, and I went into 7 figures of debt to do so by buying a competitor out. And 9 months later, it all fell apart. And I walked away losing almost everything I had worked for the first 15 years of my career. And so I've been very debt adverse since then, to the point that some people say it's crippling because if I don't have the cash in the bank for it, I won't do it. Whether buying a truck, buying a tool, buying a piece of property, if I can't pay cash for it, I am not doing it anymore. And in a couple of years, I will be 100% debt free. I've got $135,000 in outstanding mortgage. And when that's done, that's done. That said, I'm not going to tell anybody, and I'm not going to get mad at anybody if they don't want to live their life and run their business this way, because like I said, I have customers. If it wasn't for debt, I wouldn't have trucks to deliver, because almost every truck I deliver is financed. And I have customers that have made very impressive businesses that are very highly leveraged with financed equipment, leased equipment.
Uh-oh, man down. We lost Brian again. Somebody hit a button. That is an amazing rate that you've got there.
Yeah. Did I lose you again?
We hear you. Can you hear us? Check, check. Mike, 1, 2. Happy
you went to
New
mute
Year.
Again.
Oh, I'm on mute again. Happy New Year, Mike, check. Jay's just going to keep hitting buttons. We're going to finish this show up here in a second anyways. But while that's happening, I really appreciate everybody jumping in the live chat today, saying hello, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And hopefully, getting a little family time, right? Some holiday time, some family time. Brian, can you hear me again?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I hear you. And, we're going to wrap it.
Lousy quality now.
Well, it's all right. This is a perfect time to wrap it up. And I like that we got into a little bit of the money matters, because what you just said about financing is true. It's not that we don't need credit or loans or financing or otherwise, but it is our job to one day go ahead and open that mail and look at that number and go, oh my God, and then try to create a strategy to get out of that number.
Well, everything in moderation. If I could be as disciplined with my diet as I am with my finances, I wouldn't look like I do. So everything in moderation, guys.
To the choir. I'm over here doing this. Yep, living on oranges and oatmeal in between, pigging out. So I get it, man.
And really, guys, for this show is a lot more than just DOT compliance. It's probably a misnomer calling it the DOT compliance show, because we talk about the business of trucking with a little bit of regulations mixed in there, because professionally, I've chosen to be a DOT compliance consultant. But remember, I've been in your shoes. I've been a one-man owner-operator. We've had a fleet. I've managed fleets. I've managed auctions before. I've managed a salvage auction. In fact, I had a Salvage Direct franchise when they were around. They were a salvage auction that's been absorbed by IAA now, where I had a franchise with them. So we were running the entire auction for them under contract. And so I'm more than willing to give you my opinion. That's the one thing I am the expert on, is my own opinion. More than willing to give anybody my opinion and have some healthy debate and discussion on it. And so send your hate mail to onair@YourDOTGuy.com.
And your love mail, huh?
Sure.
Send your love mail to onair@YourDOTGuy.com. I just put it in the live chat. Guys, you know this is a 30-minute show. Sometimes we run late because we enjoy sharing information. So, Brian, I'm going to let you go so you can get on with the rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for all the shows this year. Really looking forward to what's going on next year.
We're looking forward to 2022.
Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. Peace out. Join us tomorrow on Dispatching Live if you've got time. All right. All right, man. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Take care, and we'll see ya.